Hello everyone, my name is Babak and I'll be talking about 5G millimeter wave communications for business planning. Because of the high bandwidth that is provided by the 5G millimeter wave technology, you can have higher data rate and lower latency, which they're very beneficial for edge computing and big data access. Now, in the dynamic business environment, 5G millimeter wave technology is very crucial. If there are many aspects of business, there is the operational aspect and the business planning. Well, for the operational aspect of businesses, there is horizontal, vertical slicing, network slicing, there's supply chain inventory, there's remote sensors, industry 4 and 5 requirements in terms of having communication with robots, and there's IoTs, there's virtual and extended reality with with the holographic video, interactive holographic video setup, and all of these require high data and big data, high data rate and big data access, uh, which, which which can be performed by using 5G millimeter wave technology. Now, this is just on the operational side of the businesses. On the business side, for business planning, it is very critical that we have a high data rate communication network like the 5G millimeter wave technology in order to have big data access with and edge computing with low latency. And for business planning, basically for long-term and short-term and long-term business planning nowadays, they use prescriptive analytics, and which includes descriptive and predictive analytics too. So, or for the descriptive analytics, there's a lot of big data access already, and for the predictive portion of the analytics, well, the thing that's done is artificial intelligence or machine learning language is used. A diversified form of artificial intelligence algorithms are used on different portions of big data in order to come up with suboptimal business decision points. And so you would end up with having a lot of this suboptimal decision point. And again, a lot of edge computing and big data access for converging all of these suboptimal decision points by another algorithm. For example, you can use mutual information or entropy, a hyper clustering method to reduce the data set, because it's impossible to work with this large set of suboptimal decision points. And by converging the hyper clustering algorithm, for example, you can use mutual information to do the convergence. You end up having optimal decision centroids. And again, because of these are prescribed decision centroids, and again, if for prescriptive analytics, we have to find out about the consequence of using these centroids, and you have another set of simulation and big data access and edge computing for doing the consequence of using these optimal decision centroids, and the result of that has to be qualitatively compared with the company objectives to come up with the final decision, and that's the decision that's made for the company in the decision for the short-term and long-term business planning. But the point is, nowadays, because of the dynamic nature of businesses, uh, this process has to be done continuously, not on a daily basis or weekly or monthly, because the reason for that is um, um, there's so much changes, that goes on in business, and the the trends and customer taste and the many factors. There are many factors involved that we have to do this process continuously. And you can see the amount of edge computing that's required. A lot of big data access and edge computing. And now another thing about the business planning is the marketing side, and which is an input to the process for this whole prescriptive analytics. And that is, we have all sorts of marketing. We have downstream marketing, where products and services are advertised and promoted. That still requires a lot of big data, a lot of data processing. And we have, for upstream marketing, we have to worry about changing the product or services to meet the demand for customers and clients, and that requires a lot of big data access and historical and present big data access, and in order to find about the customer's trend or pattern and their tastes in different regions. And there's other marketing methods like innovative marketing, and also there we have influential marketing, where all the transaction path that lead to the target product and services are examined, and obstacles are resolved by influencing factors. And all of these require a lot of marketing research and big data access. And you notice that there is an immense requirement for high data rate and edge computing and data processing that can only be achieved nowadays by the 5G millimeter wave technology because of the higher bandwidth. And also there's another issue that we have to worry about. That's the businesses are moving toward sustainable governance. So basically businesses are transitioning to a circular and sustainable economy. And many times people think that, well, they're sacrificing profit margin. Well, they have to sacrifice profit margin in order to meet sustainable requirements. But the fact is, the circular and sustainable economy, there are a lot of business opportunities. There's going to be like a lot of changes in operations, a lot of innovations. There might be outsourcing involved. There's many requirements, and portfolios have to be diversified, and there's a lot of dynamics that goes on with sustainable governance in businesses. And in fact, if by doing a lot of prescriptive analytics and using the advantages of millimeter wave technology for big data and big data access and edge computing, it is possible to find business operating point that not only the profit margin is increased, and also a lot of sustainable objectives are met beyond the minimum requirements. So this is interesting. In fact, by using the advantages of millimeter wave technology for higher data rate and edge computing and big data and access, we can come up with the business operating points, and that the profit margin can actually be more than even if you did not have any sustainable objectives at all. So out goes with the concept that environmental sustainable objectives are cost to businesses. That is not the case anymore, because of the special dynamics of this circular and sustainable economy. There's a lot of opportunities, and there's a lot of changes in operations that has to be done, and if it's done properly, then you can find out, retrieve business operating points that actually will increase their profit for businesses beyond the one that you would have even when you did not have any sustainable objectives. So this is a very interesting concept, and that's a very important application of using edge computing and big data access and update by using millimeter wave technology. And when you consider all of these factors, um, uh, the, um, by using 5G millimeter wave technology, businesses can really improve their profit margins and also meet the sustainable requirements beyond the minimum requirements, and there will be more employment, and also when there is more profit margin, then there will be more transactions, and there will be more sales taxes, and it's just that the process goes on, and the government will be that means more tax revenues for the government, and then it all goes into the cycle, and there'll be more subsidies, and overall there'll be improvement in economy. So it's very critical that businesses employ 5G millimeter wave communication technology, because of all the benefits that I mentioned here on the operation. Of course, the operation side has been mentioned by others more than what I've said here, but both on the operational aspect and the business planning aspect, it's a very important tool to have this facility, and thank you for listening to my presentation on a 5G millimeter wave communication for business planning.